Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are in the world. You know, it's been a few months since a lot of the drama and the flare-up with Laila Ali dropping those two videos on Claressa Shields. Lots going on in boxing with the men, with the women. Some new faces are emerging in women's boxing. Simply, there's a strong push for them to actually become the next big name in women's boxing. We've even seen Laila Ali take photos with Alicia Baumgardner. You got Shadesha Green, who's definitely in position to possibly get some big wins and go on to become the face of women's boxing. And you still have Claressa, you got Franchon out there. But I wanted to kind of reflect on a lot of the fallout between Laila Ali dropping those two videos on Claressa Shields. Because we were doing a live last night, and one of the things that came up, it was like, just how mad was Laila Ali, or how frustrated was Laila Ali, how emotionally dejected, how aggravated was she to make videos to respond to Claressa Shields. And I'm going to tell you, it didn't come off as impulsive anger. It came off as very controlled. The kind of agitation and frustration that builds up over time. Now, there's still some people out there who haven't seen the video, which I'm shocked, because that just lets you know they don't follow boxing, they just follow drama. So they don't want to take time to go and... To me, if anyone's going to even talk about Laila Ali and Claressa Shields, and you haven't watched the two Laila Ali videos, well, then you've taken it way beyond the stupid. And you should watch the Claressa Shields response. I mean, if you're going to be out here talking about Laila Ali and Claressa Shields, even now when things have really died down, because Laila Ali, those videos she put out, pretty damn powerful. But if you're not going to watch the videos, you shouldn't talk. Because Laila Ali, she was not drunk. She wasn't ranting and raving. It wasn't her clout chasing. It wasn't a messy response. Nothing like that. From Laila Ali, it was calm, measured, direct in nature, and clearly thought out. Now, that tells me she wasn't reacting to one comment or any one particular antic. Not at all. She was reacting to years of buildup. And I do believe she was making little mental notes of the different things that were being said. Excuse me. The different videos that were surfacing and the different interviews that Claressa Shields was doing. I do believe Laila Ali was taking that stuff and saying, okay, keep talking. What the Charles boy said, keep running your mouth. And she was just saying, all right, just throw it here in a little file. And when I get ready, I'm going to come out and do things the Ali way. Now, one thing about Laila Ali, with her personality, right? Class, distance, and discipline. She's always presented herself as polished, reserved, very selective with her words. You can see she's the kind of person, if she knows something crazy may come out of her mouth, because she's human, she just won't say anything. You know what I'm saying? Or if they're trying to interview, she'll just be like, interview's over, and walk off. Like, Laila's not going to allow you bait her into no back and forth to where she loses her cool. She's very selective with her words and with her time, and very selective about the people she chooses to give interviews and time with and associate with. She's not out here living online. You won't see her out here arguing in comment sections. And she's definitely not doing back and forth. It's like me and a lot of people. We just ain't got time for the bullshit, you know. But she is very particular about who she engages, because she understands who she is and at her level and with her last name, even though she may want to even agree with something somebody's saying, she knows she just can't come down in the comments and say, I agree wholeheartedly, and yet, no, she may like something, but she's not going to say anything. So she's very particular about who she engages, on what kind of content she's engaging, and when she does it. Because one thing for sure, I think all of us know how important it is to protect your peace. You've got to protect your peace, man. And that's how Laila Ali is. And that's important because when you get someone like Laila Ali to finally speak, it catches you off guard. You're like, where'd that shit come from? Because I ain't gonna lie, I was doing the same thing. When that first video came out, I was like, uh-oh, somebody must have crossed a personal line here. Because, I'll be honest with you. I follow boxing. Of course I knew who Claressa Shields was. I did a lot of videos on Claressa Shields. And most of my videos were more about, ain't nobody beating her. Why is she not a gazillionaire? I even thought maybe it had something to do with her being, female, black female, and just how sometimes society can be a bit unfair. But when Laila dropped them videos, I said, something must have happened here. And when I watched that first one, I'll be honest with you, because I'm not on the internet like that, I didn't know all that stuff happened. I saw a little bit here, a little bit there. It's one thing if you're watching something over the years and you see a little video here, then 8 months later, something here. It's not as impactful as somebody in like a 30, 40-minute video giving you 8 years worth of harassment and bullying and lies. Boom, right in your face. So I was like, wow. But it made me say, what happens psychologically when somebody feels lied on? Laila felt like, this girl is getting carried away with the BS. So I was like, when someone believes they're being misrepresented, being publicly lied on, being turned into a villain, and they're being used as a narrative tool, it can cause chronic stress, always knowing your name is being dragged when you're not in the room, always wondering what's being said. And I'm not saying this is the case for Laila, but this is what happens to a lot of people. But as a result, that creates anxiety, that creates irritability, that creates emotional fatigue. Then also, when people are doing these things, it can cause an identity threat. When you think about Laila Ali's identity, she's a champion, she's a wife, she's a mother, she's a businesswoman. So when you have someone out here like Claressa Shields who are trying to paint her as maybe not being the honest person, being avoidant, being afraid, knowing I'll knock her out, because Laila Ali, I'll knock her out, right? That attacks how the public sees you, because there were some people who are getting caught up in the hype, getting caught up in the bull crap. That's why I think a bit of moral outrage was created, especially when someone like Laila Ali believes, you know what, I've been respectful, I've been trying to stay quiet, I haven't escalated anything. And I think at some point the brain goes, if I don't correct this becomes truth. And I think that is something that eventually got to Laila Ali, where she was like, all right, enough is enough with this nonsense. So after all those years, to me, she snapped. She was like, time to do something about it. And when I say snap, doesn't mean she snapped emotionally. She ain't losing cool. She just said, all right. She snapped strategically. Strategically. Now think about it, right? Years of silence. Years of ignoring. Years of not responding. Then suddenly she drops videos. With receipts, with context, with the timeline. That suggests she reached a point where silence was no longer protecting her, and silence was allowing a story to grow. And she was like, We're not going to do that. So her move, it wasn't emotional. It wasn't reactive, but it was more defensive and corrective. And I'm going to tell you this. Me watching those videos, Laila Ali she never once mentioned anything about Claressa Shields' relationship at all in there. I didn't hear Laila say one thing about Claressa's relationship. That's something that almost every woman talks about. I'll say every woman talks about that. Laila didn't say shit about it. She could have. But no, she decided stick to the facts and just address the things that were said. Not get all emotional. She knew not to go a certain direction. She was very calculated, man. When you watch her videos, I finally reached the point where I can watch her videos and not get upset. Because when I was watching those videos, man, I was getting agitated because just knowing how she was harassed and bullied and lied on, it really, and then the whole mentioning of Muhammad Ali's name, that really got me worked up, you know what I'm saying? But I finally reached the point to where I can watch them and be like, just shake my head like, this shit is crazy. But when you watch Laila Ali's videos, she wasn't screaming. She wasn't trying to insult. She wasn't attacking Claressa personally. She was more focused on the facts, the history, the intent, and then clarification. And that tells you that for Laila Ali, I'm pretty sure she thought about it for a long time. Probably talked to people very close to her. Probably even ran it by family, friends, legal-minded people, and made sure that she had all her ducks in a row. Because the tone was just way too clean for me. The structure was way too clear, and the message was way too controlled. I'm like, if she did all that on her own, like she says, well then Laila Ali, job well done. But it was so on point, I believe that she may have had some people where they worked together to make sure, okay, it's almost like writing. I know a lot of y'all remember high school or been to college and stuff. When you're writing, you know, you do your rough draft, first edit, second edit. You know what I'm saying? It's normal. If you're going to put together something like what she put out, you got to have a kind of rough draft in the first, second, third edit. You got to make sure you get that right. Because that's going out to the world, you know what I mean? It's just one thing to give something to your dumbass instructor. Hey, whatever, it's my second edit, whatever, it is what it is. But, you know, when you're going to put a video like what Laila Ali put out, I think she had some people around her that was like, okay, let me put a set of eyes on that. Because her approach wasn't, I'm mad, so I'm posting this. Nah. That's not at all. That's not how I took that. I took it as she was like, oh, really? Okay. I'm tired of being misrepresented, and this is my truth. So I'm going to give my truth. And it was loud. It was calculated. It was precise. And it didn't give Claressa Shields a standing 8 count. It was the knockout death blow. It was wild, man. Now, did people probably help her with the response? Nah, man, look, I'm going to tell you what, man. Laila's high profile, careful with her image. She's business-minded. So it's reasonable to believe she probably had some people kind of say, hey, go ahead and put it together, or they helped her frame her words, shape the message, avoid defamation, avoid emotional traps, you know, to make sure it was a clean delivery to where Claressa's team, nobody, even fans, they really couldn't come back and say, oh, well, Laila Ali did this and she did that. No, she kept it straight down the line and dealt with the facts with receipts. And I tell you what, that doesn't weaken her stance. It actually strengthens it. And here we are several months later, and those videos are still holding strong, and people are still talking about it. And those people who are now learning about them, they're watching those videos with their heads shaking like, you got to be kidding me. All that shit happened? Same thing I was saying. They're like, wow, we didn't know that. But again, those videos, what she put out, it really strengthened her position, strengthened her argument, and it really strengthened her image and her character. Because it shows that she just wanted to look. I just wanted to clear up the confusion. I want to be accurate. I want to be responsible to myself and Claressa. And I want these videos to be very effective. And they were, because as far as Claressa's behavior changed after that, after Laila responded and hit her with the combination, the 1-2, the public narrative shifted big time, boy. But I called that. I said that was going to happen. I said, ain't no way in the world Claressa going to be able to withstand the fallout from this. You know what I'm saying? You just can't come out here and be attacking and harassing and bullying someone like Laila Ali for a fight, and then mentioning Muhammad Ali's name the way she was. Even though I did talk to Claressa, she said, look, I was just trying to make a fight. I understand, but I don't agree with it. But the thing is, there are many fans, they don't even understand the whole idea with fighting, because they don't follow boxing. They don't get there's going to be some trash talk. So I understood the whole thing about trying to make a fight. I don't understand or agree with mentioning Muhammad Ali's name, because, you know, when you start talking about him, you enter in sacred ground. And I keep saying this, that's why it comes out the way it does. People all across the world hold Muhammad Ali's name near and dear to their hearts. But when Laila responded, when it comes to Claressa, the public narrative shifted. All hell broke loose. There are many people who are already on Claressa just because, it is what it is. They got an issue with her being with Papoose and him being married, and they have a way they feel about things, right? Me, I'm aware of it because, I only was hosting live. I still host. We still go live. People talk about it still. But there was a point where when I was the first one to really get that whole thing started, to give people an opportunity to call in and talk boxing. Excuse me. It just went a direction to where the women just started calling in. And they were talking about it then, and they're talking about it now. The relationship. So the public narrative just shifted, and it went crazy. But one thing happened is Claressa stopped pushing the Laila fight publicly. I noticed she said a little bit here and there, but eventually she just stopped. She will come out every now and then, and she may say something, and people will screenshot whatever she says, and they'll make a video. Some people send it to me, and I see that she still will say things about Laila Ali, and not a whole lot, but to me, I don't know. It's just like what Franchon Cruz's and Claressa talking about. This is the Laila Ali and Wolf fight that never happened. The Claressa Shields and Franchon Cruz's the rematch. That shit is not no goddamn Laila Ali and Wolf. Okay? So, Claressa may have stopped pushing for the fight with Laila publicly, and she has stopped making her the focal point, because Laila Ali said, look, you never get an opportunity to make money off of me and my last name. But what that suggests for Claressa Shields is her getting exposed worked. You know what I mean? The strategy, Laila Ali's strategy worked. The spotlight flipped and put it right back on Claressa Shields. So it went from, instead of why won't Laila fight, it became, why is Claressa pushing a retired woman? Which is the truth. Laila Ali was retired for a while, man. She wasn't thinking about no damn fighting. But the fan reaction to the Fight Laila campaign, in hindsight, I think once fans really processed it, they said, yo, there's a massive age gap. What was Claressa doing? She wasn't chasing no legacy. She was chasing that Wu-Tang cream cha-ching ching dollar bill, y'all. Like, Laila been retired for years. What were we doing even thinking that this was going to be a good idea? This was all BS. Laila should have never been attacked, never been disrespected. Laila had moved on from boxing. She was in a great space, personally and professionally, with the new things she was doing. And Claressa was active and in her prime, calling out a retired woman who was going on 50. So fans start seeing it, after they allowed it to to digest. And in hindsight, they were like, yo, that shit is disrespectful. Fans start seeing it as tone deaf, as opportunistic. And when it come to Muhammad Ali, may he rest in peace, yo, I am telling you, there are people out here, though, who don't want to hear nothing from Claressa Shields. They don't want to hear nothing. They don't care about her. They don't care what happens to her. They just like, nah, she could come out here and, even though she said, hey, I was just trying to make a fight. They're like, nah, no way. Mentioning Muhammad Ali felt manipulative by many, felt like button pushing, felt like emotional bait. And they have not got beyond it, and I don't think they will. And there are people out here who Claressa Shields would never even know are in decision-making positions who probably feel the same way. And there are doors that may have been open at one point in time that have quietly closed, doors that may have been open at one point in time that have abruptly closed, and doors that have never been open that will never be open. Because people are saying, you know what, this shit she was doing wasn't about competition. It was disgusting because it was about attention and money. And she was willing to do whatever it took to try to provoke Laila to take the bait and come and fight her just so she and her team, and her whole team are involved. The whole team are fucking monsters for that. And that's how people are looking at it. Like, this shit's about attention and money. You'll go so low to come out here and disrespect one of the greatest human beings that walked the face of this planet. They're like, nah. And I'm telling y'all right now, that affected Claressa's image and it affected her opportunities. You know what I'm saying? She may not feel so. I'm just going off listening to fans. And I'm sitting back watching, waiting for the big deals and stuff to land. You know what I mean? I'm waiting to hear some good news. But I'm just sitting back and I ain't really seeing too much good happening when it comes to Claressa Shields outside of what she's telling us about her deal and really her deal with Win Records. That's it. But since Laila spoke out, Claressa has gained more criticism, more pushback, less benefit of the doubt, more focus on her personal life, more focus on how she eats, more focus on how she dresses, more focus on how she dances, more focus on her family, more focus on everything, how she spends money, everything. It's really gone beyond the stupid at this point. It's like, even I sit back here, and I don't like or dislike Claressa because I like fighters. So, as a fighter, I like and respect her. About to fucking die. I like and respect her as a fighter. But as a human being, I don't know her to like her or dislike her. She's just a fighter. She's an interesting person. But even I sit back and watch because, I don't really care. But I watch how the people are with her and I'm like, damn. I'm like, these people are brutal, boy. It ain't even just making jokes. Because no one's off limit with a joke to me, even me. I joke about myself. If we're not laughing, we're not living. That's how I feel. But I watch what's happening with Claressa. She gained some serious ass attention. And it's not good. A lot of fans see her now who didn't maybe recognize it before. They're like, yo, she's aggressive, disrespectful. She's willing to bully for narrative. She's not truthful. This is what fans, a lot of fans see her, but she does have some fans that they just ride and die with Claressa. They're like, I don't care what anyone says. Claressa is a fighter. She comes from hard times, tough background. She's lucky to be here. She's the rose from the concrete. Y'all need to leave her alone. And that's how some other fans feel. But I'm just saying this, when it comes to the negative side of things, it matters because boxing isn't just about wins. It's brand, it's relationships, it's sponsors, it's legacy. So now everything Claressa says is scrutinized, interpreted through that lens, and compared to how she treated Laila, how she's treated fans. And it doesn't matter what Claressa says, these fans out here, they don't want to hear nothing from her. it's actually kind of scary. It's just like when she called into the show, and to just see how that energy went way dark. And that's not good. You know what I'm saying? Because fans are just like, they just feel like, yo, we ain't never forgiven her. We ain't accepting no apology. We're watching her in her personal life, her relationships. We don't care how she feels. We talking about it. We're going to say what we have to say. And that's why you see so many damn YouTube channels popping up. It's crazy to me to sit back and watch. Like, there's people who just create YouTube channels, and now they're supposed to be the gossip channel or the channel about the news or the channel about this. And all they do is put shit out about Claressa. And look, they can do what they want. I really don't care. It's interesting to me. Like, this shit really is a case study. Like, I even talked about, man, finishing my PSYD. And I'm like, man, if I go back to finish that, I am going to write about this whole thing with Claressa and the internet and people and just, communication and interpretation. I'm going to write about this because social media, it's just like, I was watching these young kids in Trinidad do a debate on Roblox. And I'm like, boy, I should do that shit about social media, because it's so interesting. And that's why some fans are like, yo, we're never going to accept an apology and we ain't never going to forgive her. Because to them, it wasn't trash talk. It was Claressa targeting a retired woman, targeting a mother, misrepresenting conversations, trying to create false narratives, trying to apply pressure publicly. And once fans feel somebody was bullied, somebody was lied on, they lock in emotionally. That's why you hear, I don't care what she says now. That's just that's the vibe. And look, that's not logic. That's emotional memory. They just don't want to let certain things go. So, big picture takeaway. What happened between Laila and Claressa, it just shows, man, silence doesn't always protect you. Reputation must sometimes be defended. Power dynamics matter, and public narrative becomes reality if unchecked. Laila just sat back and she just waited. She's like waited till she had enough to where she was like, all right, I'm going to do something about this. And when the moment was right, that's when she decided to pull the trigger and put them videos out to make sure her message could land. Oh, and it landed. It landed. And I tell you what, when she spoke, that harassment stopped, didn't it? The story changed, and the fans reevaluated everything. That's why we sit back here now and just look at how things played out. Claressa Shields pushing for that fight with a retired Laila Ali. Even some of the fans who at first was kind of agreeing, now they're like, nah. Now we got the full story. We don't like what Claressa was doing. We like how Laila handled things with class, being misrepresented. She had every right to come out there and to defend herself. They recognized that it was nothing but a money grab, and in the moment permanently changed, especially Claressa's public image. And a lot of us believe there's some opportunities that may have been there that have just kind of disappeared. But I think this is a story, when it comes to Laila Ali, a story of patience, pressure, and finally standing your ground. You know what I'm saying? And just makes you wonder, how angry or aggravated was Laila Ali to have created those two videos on Claressa Shields and to get down in the weeds, to come from where she sits, right? To come all the way down in the weeds and say, knock it off. It had to have her really agitated. So we sit back now and look, and just in hindsight, it's like, Laila Ali wasn't having it, man. And a lot of people, they agree with Laila. And you know what? She says she ain't taking them videos down. She shouldn't. She should leave them there. Leave them videos there and let people see. what exactly was going on. Now, can people change? Yeah, I mean, people can change, but when you go at Muhammad Ali and you go and you harass somebody for as long as Claressa did, kind of hard to overlook that. Anyway, y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.